Everybody want to be famous, but nobody want to put the work in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day consuming this. Great to have you. Give me a second. Let me get everything shared out and ready to roll. Hold up. Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. All right, good. Mic check. Let me. Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. All right, Facebook, we're good. All right, good. Yeah. Mic. All right, we're all good. We're all set. We're all ready to roll. Good afternoon. Like I said, good morning, good afternoon. Whatever time of day you are consuming this evergreen material. If you're new around here, my name is One Crookshank. I'm your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player, and current 5-time, soon to be 6-time published author and educator. And I created this whole concept, this whole brand, this whole framework, the whole way of life. That's all about taking the innovative teamwork lessons that you learn on the football field and applying them to businesses and business owners so they have a staff and a group of employees that moves the same way a championship high school or youth football team moves. That's what we've decoded. That's the transition. That is what we do around here in a nutshell. And we are again back for another Top 5 Tuesday. Top 5 Tuesday all week. We're talking about the concept of mental adjustments, ways of mentally adjusting and understanding the importance of mentally adjusting. Things happen. Shit happens in life. You will have to have a practice. You would have to have it already in the back of your mind, already the mindset, already concerned, already have it predetermined how you're going to mentally adjust when the shit happens, because the shit is going to happen. So yesterday we broke down the question, what exactly is a mental adjustment? Today, as we always do on Top 5 Tuesday, we're breaking down the top 5 ways to mentally adjust and how you go about doing it. There is actually a process. There's a step-by-step process towards setting yourself up to constantly mentally adjust to whatever is going to occur. And like I said, whatever is going to occur, right? Whatever is going to happen, you do not have control of that whatsoever. So I'm going to dive deeper into all that today. Before I do, however, as always, I will need to get through some announcements real quick, and then we'll jump right into the article and get things going. For those who are new around here, I usually keep these recordings around the 35-minute mark, explaining everything. I'll go over the article while I do the live stream, so that way if it's in the written format, you guys see where it is in the written format, and I have it as a way of speaking it directly to you as well. So first and foremost, if you are a business owner and you have not yet, be sure you go to freeguide.makeyourmove.com. That's freeguide.makeyourmove.com. We work from a very, very, very simple, very easy to understand formula around here. It is number one, you establish measurables plus creating a professional distance, and that will lead to the productive environment. There is no other blueprint for this. There's no other blueprint towards a productive environment. There's the measurables, there's the professional distance, there's an alignment, there's a solid mix between the two. And then and only then is the productive environment going to actually happen. All right. Simply go to freeguide.makeyourmove.com, hit the click here, hit the button, and you just put your name, your email in, and you will be sent over a 10-step process in which you can get the ball rolling on that. All right. Next thing for all my college football fans, my college football people. All right. A lot of the business and the way the concept came about, it really did come from my experience as a college football player. I will be starting a live college football show about 2 weeks from now. This season, I'll be doing a live college football show from the from the Duffy Sports Bar and Grill in North Palm Beach from 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Come be a part of the conversation. Come be a part of watching the game with us, whether you want to watch the game with us at the bar or you want to do it virtually. We'll have things live set up. Just sign up right there, put your email in, and you'll get a weekly scenario sent to you in which we'll be discussing a lot of the parallels between the college football world and the business ownership world and how those two worlds are constantly merging, constantly making a kind of making complementing each other, because the two are able to help each other. Help business owners are able to help coaches are able to help business owners, and you'll see the game merge in so many different ways to where even if you're not necessarily a college football fan and you're a CEO of a company or you're a business owner, the things that you will learn just based on the concept of the game, again, what I teach, the way I break down my system, you'll start to find yourself being a better business owner just because you're learning the ins and outs of the game, the week-to-week grind and what you have to go through. And if a player goes down, what are you going to do? All the decisions that a college football coach is making or just made in the world of college football in general, all of those things are important to pay attention to because it will help. It will help you as a business owner. So we're going to be diving deep into all of that this season. It's weeklyscenario.makeitmove.com. And if you are in that mindset, if you are the mindset of the folks that we love around here, your favorite people around here, all right, are the ones that say, bump all the free stuff as one, tell me who I got to pay, when I got to pay them, how I got to pay, all that stuff. If you just want to pay someone to say, hey, look, I'm tired of the retention problem I have here at my business, I'm ready to pay someone to get this thing fixed right now. We love you around here. Just simply go to makeyourmove.com. Makeyourmove.com. You'll from there you could purchase the books. You could purchase a Move Swiftly workshop. We can book a meeting with me and we can figure out what the best payment plan is for you and all that kind of stuff. All right. And you do all your research on me and all that kind of stuff. Hit the tab that says Innovative Teamwork. Turn your business into a championship team. It is common knowledge that the best way to win in business or in life is by avoiding ways to lose. Whether you've just started a new business or you've been in business for quite some time, there's no getting around the need to hire or outsource certain elements of your organization so things can run as efficiently as possible. When you book your meeting with Aswan, he'll diagnose what the issues are with your current system and then strategically create a system in which will lead to a reduced amount of turnover or a clear understanding of the parts of your business that need to be outsourced. All right, let's get in to, let me put the banner up, the top 5 ways to mentally adjust. Now, one second, let me get all the stuff ready to roll here. Top 5 ways to mentally adjust. As I mentioned in the intro, this mentally adjusting concept, it hit me a couple years ago and I was mentioning, not just this morning, not just earlier, but I was mentioning this yesterday, but it hit me a couple of years ago when there was a business owner mindset of mine, the growth mindset of mine, the entrepreneur in me who's made the common mistake that a lot of you entrepreneurs make, a lot of you business owners make, a lot of you folks that want to run your own, want to eventually be the CEO of your company. You want to move up to more of a decision-making person. You're climbing the corporate ladder, whatever it is. If you're a decision maker and you're responsible and people are depending on you to make great decisions based on for their jobs and they're depending on you to make positive decisions so you have a employment and all that kind of stuff. If you're the person that's responsible for hiring and firing people and, being accountable for what people are doing and things being messed up and all that, you have to take in this understanding where you have to mentally adjust, because I was in the place where a lot of you guys are right now and still are, and some of you will never get out of it because you're so damn stubborn. But I was in a place where I wanted to give people something instead of asking what they wanted and give them that, or figuring out what they not wanted, I should say, but figuring out what my client, what my potential customers, what the people who will be paying me, what they needed, and give them that. I was more taking the approach of, hey, I want to give them something and then I want to try to fit it in and give it to them before, as opposed to mentally adjust and listening to what they need and then giving them the thing they need, offering the services in a way that they're actually going to need it. All right. This is a it's a difficult task, again, because most of the folks who have this level of ambition and they want to be leaders and they want to be CEOs, again, CEOs, entrepreneurs, business owners, whatever, you want to be in that position. You develop a mindset, a tough mindset, a resilient mindset, a mindset in which you're going to go out and be hands-on and figure things out on your own. Eventually, you got to sort of buckle a little. I don't like to use the word buckle, but you got to kind of just humble yourself just a little bit and realize, hey, it's not just about me. It's about servicing the people that I want to service. And it's about the people that care about me. It's about the folks that really do depend on me to make decisions, the right decision. So I had this idea of putting together a Move Swiftly membership. And, at the time I was a part of Dre Baldwin's, shout out to Dre, I was a part of his mastermind. And it was one of those ideas that he strongly recommended that I don't pursue, because he himself tried something similar. And, hey, memberships, people don't show up, they don't pay, they don't this, all sorts of things that you have to figure out and deal with when you're trying to start off and create a membership type of a thing, which again, the idea was good, but you have to be thinking about what the people that you want to serve are actually needing. And right now they don't need another membership. So when he and I had that conversation, he had mentioned to me the things that I'm actually good at are mental adjustments. So I should be offering the services in a way in which I'm moving into those money making skills and moving in a direction of those money making skills, which is constantly mental adjustment. So we have a whole weekly theme talking mental adjustments. All right. So all that being said, let's jump right into the top 5. Top 5 Tuesday. Top 5 ways to mentally adjust. Welcome back. And that image right there, it's back when it was the time, man. It was the time, because for those of you who don't know, I do teach at this school named the Center for Creative Education, the sport and fitness director. Now, this was an image put together about a year and a half ago, actually, because I remember he was fifth. This guy right here, he was 5th grade. He was back when he was in 4th grade. He's no longer with the school. And we got a generous donation of a bunch of sports equipment and stuff like that from a different school. And, it was kind of a cool thing to see the kids' reaction to, getting all this cool equipment. And one of them was a basketball hoop. So, they did some promo on that. And it's interesting to see it now, because just from that point now, having an actual sport and fitness curriculum and sport and fitness program that's, getting them outside and stuff like that. And we have a new playground, brand new playground that right now is getting built. In fact, just this morning, I was at the gym and I was approached by a guy who does some handyman work, and he drives a truck all day. He does a lot of work with cement, and he was telling me a little bit about how him as a skilled worker, handyman worker, the skill and the trade that he has, some of that doesn't get appreciated. And I was letting him know, hey, I deal with quote unquote educated folks, and we can't even get certain schedules right and all. There's so many things that you have to be prepared for as you are thinking about how you're going to be mentally adjusting in your own life, and you will have all those questions answered for you. So let's get back into the article. So welcome back to another Top 5 Tuesday on the Move Swiftly platform. If you're a regular around here, then you already know what time it is. But for the newcomers, let me fill you in. We've been doing a Top 5 Tuesday every single week for nearly 2 years straight. That's not a typo, folks. Every single Tuesday, we drop some kind of valuable breakdown, something digestible, something real, something that gets you thinking and moving. This week, we're sticking with our theme of mental adjustments, and I've got 5 ways to help you master the art. But first, a quick story to set the tone. Learning to adjust, a real one, all right? So, before I even continue to read, I want you guys to know you will not find anyone, period, whether you know someone in your personal life Or you know someone else on the internet that you follow. You will not find another person more suitable to talk to you about mental adjustments than the one you're listening to right now. All right. You won't. You just won't. It won't happen. You will not find another person more suitable to really break down the concept of mental adjustments and having to do it within the snap of a finger, within the snap of the fingers, right? Because stuff happens in my world, in the world that I live in, and whether it's the job I have, whether it's the business I want to run, relationship I'm in. Listen, if stuff happens right now, and you got to can figure it out right now. And I'm not giving you every detail of it for a reason. Just know you will not find another person more suitable to talk to you about mental adjustments. All right. Now, all that being said, going directly back to the article, if your name is as one, you get used to hearing it butchered. Worse, you get used to people turning it into a joke, dragging out the ass part like it's some kind of comedy bit. Ass one. They'll say it with a smirk, expecting a laugh. At some point, you learn to mentally adjust. You stop reacting. You stop explaining. You stop expecting respect from people who don't care to understand. That kind of shift, that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's break down the top 5 ways to mentally adjust. That kind of shift, that kind of understand, that kind of blatant arrogance and blatant bullshit that you hear from people, when you see it, when you sense it, when you're around it, when you're around it long enough and you could smell it on people from a mile away, you now start making moves. You start making moves to where you can figure out ways to maneuver and work around those arrogant folks. That's what happens. All right. So first way, number 1 way to mentally adjust is you have got to know your end game. Your end game. All right. You've got to know your end game. You got to know how it is you want this thing ended for you. You got to know where it is you want to be 10, 15 years down the line. And it's whether we want to admit it or not, you will not know your end game. It's incredibly challenging to know what your end game is if you don't have the partner, whether you want to call it the significant other, whoever it is, if you don't have people in your corner that you're building with. It's incredibly difficult, damn near impossible to know what you want your end game to look like. I remember saying this to my girl when we first met. That was maybe our third date, I think it was. Yeah, actually, I think it was our third date, where I told her, a man really doesn't know what he wants until he knows the kind of woman he wants to be with, until he knows specifically what kind of woman is for him. And it's the same way with females. You have to know your end game. And at some point, you have to be vulnerable enough to let people in and hear their heart, hear what they're about, hear exactly the things that they're saying, not just verbally, but saying internally, saying what they're actually feeling. You got to have an end game in mind, and you need to be working with people with that. All right. So end game, mentally adjusting doesn't mean tolerating nonsense. It means knowing why you're doing what you're doing and what your boundaries are. For me, all those jokes about my name were just annoying. They revealed something deeper. They told me who was serious and who wasn't, who had depth and who was comfortable coasting. My end game was simple. Distance myself from folks who didn't value growth, people who couldn't even take the time to pronounce my name right. So I did, and I haven't looked back, period, point blank. Just distance yourself from those people, all right? Distance yourself. When you have that, when you have the mindset, when you have the ability to figure out where it is you want to be 10, 15 years down the line, you can distance yourself from just assholes. Plain and simple, arrogant assholes. And that's what I started to do. That's what I made the decision to do. All right. So that's number 1. Number 2 is you need to have a backbone. You need to have some backbone. Oh, geez, my bad. I didn't mean to minimize that. All right. You need to have backbone. Let me put that up. Hopefully I have some. Let me put that up. All right, you need to have backbone. You need to have a backbone here. All right. Adjusting mentally doesn't mean staying silent. In fact, sometimes it means speaking up. All right. So when it comes to, let me read through the whole thing and then I'll address it. So there's only so much disrespect a person can take, right? And when that line gets crossed, you need to be bold enough to call it out and live with the consequences. I wrote a piece about this last year, modeling a strong backbone for kids. It's right here on this Medium, on the same Medium my same Medium profile. Without backbone, you become a punching bag. And once that happens, confidence crumbles. You start believing the lies people try to attach to your name. You start shrinking. That's a battle no one else can fight for you. Backbone, people. You need to have a backbone if you want to mentally adjust. Again, how you develop this strong backbone, how you develop the confidence to actually speak up when you see bullshit and call bullshit out and really call the bullshit out with the right people. How do you develop that? Is knowing where it is you're trying to end. Knowing not only where it is you're trying to end, but where an organization, where you're trying to end as a team. Understanding we're trying to change culture, build something special. You got to have the ability to call the bullshit out when people are getting in the way of your future, when people are getting in the way of the things you're trying to build. If you don't have that backbone, you will be taken advantage of. All right. Folks will come in and out of your life only when it's a need to them, only when it's beneficial to them. This backbone right here, 1 and 2, they got to work hand in hand. All right, there's a difference between just talking shit and saying, oh, well, I deserve this because of whatever I've done in the past versus I need this to happen because these are my goals. These are the things. These are my long-term plans. These are my short-term, long-term goals that's going to lead to this and lead to that. And then you're getting in the way of it with your bullshit. You got to be able to call it out. You got to be able to call that out and do it with guts. Do it with confidence. All right. And you can only be, and we're going to talk about confidence next week, but you can only be confident when you've confident if you've put in the work, if you've actually put in the work and put in the time to do and say, to not only be saying what it is you want to be doing, but you're in the process of taking actions towards doing it. So there should already be in place in your mind, hey, I'm not letting this bullshit slide anymore, because you have it in your mind, hey, I'm going here. So the folks getting in your way, you got to have the strength and the backbone to deal with it. That's the issue with a lot of you leaders right now. That's the issue with a lot of you folks right now who have a fancy title. You have your corner office. You're called the CEO of this. You're called the CEO of that. You're so ready to take the title, take the money, take the comfortable salary, take the secure, take all the good things that come with a fancy title. But when it comes to actually sticking to your word and saying, this is not going to happen because it's getting in the way of the organization starting to become a problem, then you want to delegate and start to put your try to put that responsibility on somebody else. I'm talking to somebody right now. I'm talking to somebody right now. I'm talking to somebody right now. I'm talking to somebody. This is what I'm telling you right now. You need me to come in and develop this system for you. I was just actually, before I got on this, I was listening to Dre. Shout out to Dre, man, virtual mentor of mine. I was listening to his episode. It dropped an episode recently on his Work on Your Game podcast titled How to Be a CEO. And one of the points that he made was all about your systems have to be airtight. You have to operate on your system and what's going to be the best system. You can't be operating off your feelings, man. You can't be operating off some personal bullshit that's going on in your home and start bringing that to work and, trying to guilt trip people into doing this and doing that. All that shit is for the motherfucking birds. All right. What needs to happen is you need to operate from a system and say, this is what the system says. And if you're not going to abide by the system that's in place, that's going to be beneficial to everyone, you got to have the backbone and the guts to let some motherfuckers know, hey, you're fucking up. All right. That's the reality of the situation. Backbone is so damn important. And this one I learned from my mother way back when I was 19 years old. She taught me, I had my first job at a gym and they were telling me I needed to be there at a certain time. And, they're giving people no notice and stuff like that. And she was the one that really taught, hey, no, got to get some backbone, because the minute you start letting people do that, then they start taking advantage of you over and over and over and over again. And you don't want to be that person. Trust me, I've been that person. There. All right. Where you're the person where they're constantly taking advantage of, and you're only hearing from folks when they need this and when they need that. But just, reaching out to see how you're doing. No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Doing small things in support of what it is I'm doing. No, not going to happen. Only when they need you, then you get contacted. Right. Okay. Got it. Got it. So number 3, right there on the screen, the more information you have, the better. All right. Knowledge is power. Information is power. Let's say it again for the people in the back, all the way in the back of the church, at the back of the congregation, for everyone to hear. All right. Right now, information is at our fingertips. And the more information you have, the better. The power is to the person who has the information. You get the information and you apply the shit. You apply the shit in such a way that no one can stop you. All right. When you have the information, again, let me clarify when I say it. It's one thing to just have the information. It's also about applying the information. So the information that you already have in your head becomes multiplied because you've taken some advice. Again, we'll use the example of Dre. And he tells me, look, one thing about the Moose 15 membership, I have the information that he's given me. I go and apply it. And then I learn other things from other people. And then that's more information, more information, more information, more information, because you apply it. The more information you have, the better. And when I say information, I don't mean being a pig, just being a professional. And that's a acronym for being a professional information gatherer and just, being that person on social media, just watching folks live their life and not having anything to say, not having anything to say in person, but you have all that you do a whole lot of talking online, but nothing to say when you see them in person, right? I'm not talking about just being that person who has that kind of information. I'm talking about a person that actually has enough information that's applying it on a daily basis. So you're taking that information and you're applying it to some sort of a solid system that's going to get a wheel turning, where you're constantly engaged. One of my favorite CEOs, speaking of CEOs, let's see if he's still around. His name was Logan Stout, I believe. Yes, there he is, Logan Stout. All right, baseball guy. I wonder what is he up to these days? Is he a baseball coach? All right. University. Okay, is that what he's? So Logan Stout, I met him back when I was doing the ID Life. I wonder if that's what he's doing these days. But he was heavy into a network marketing company named ID Life, and I wonder if it's around. Let me just look it up real quick. It's been a minute since it's been a minute since. So I guess he doesn't really rock with ID Life like that anymore. Wonder if the company's still around. So anyway, Logan Stout was the CEO of this company named ID Life, and I was doing a lot of work with them, as I've done with multiple network marketing companies. And he had a promo video way back that I watched like a couple of years ago at this point now, where he talked about when you hear about certain companies, right? You hear the name of a certain company, whether it's a Nike or a Reebok or Under Armour, whatever it is, it more so sounds like a verb, right? It's something that you're taking action. It's a verb, right? And when it comes to the information of number 3, the information needs to be applied in such a way where your organization sounds like a verb. It sounds like it's something in which you're taking action towards. All right. So number 3, more information, the better. And that leads me right to number 4, be flexible. All right. Be flexible in real time. You've got to be flexible enough to, hey, stuff happens. I gotta be able to make a move that's going to be able to accommodate both, multiple parties. All right. Let me read it directly for you guys. Flexibility is the real-time application of mental adjustment. Perfect example, the start of the school year in my new role as a sport and fitness director, I had this grand plan, students tracking reps, analyzing data, building projects around sports heroes. What I got instead, kindergartners, first graders bumping into each other, chasing butterflies and forgetting which direction to run. But that's okay. I've been in this game long enough to know you start where you start, then you adapt. That's the work. That's the joy. That's the growth. All right. So just to clarify now, what I had planned, I had a grand plan that I think I did share here a little bit, a grand plan to make it so every kid was going to write down what reps they were going to do and how this was going to work and all these great plans and these great details that went into the plan. However, when you get to the kids and you see what you're dealing with, you see where they are mentally and what they're able to do, I just said, hey, let me pare this down, stop all this and stop trying to, again, give people the thing that I want to give them. All right. And then I said to myself, you know what? Let's just keep it basic. Let's just like yesterday. So yesterday, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I just put 3 cones together, turned it into a triangle, and had the kids run around the triangle while the other kids shared them on. Something really, really simple. It built confidence. It helped with the self-esteem. The kids were getting in shape, and they were just together as a unit. Be flexible enough to pare down whatever it is you might have had planned before and say, this is what the need is right now. They learn their shapes, learn their colors, small things. All right. Small things. That's the process of mentally adjusting. All right. And finally, I've sort of already said this and kind of stepped on this. So I'll run through this real quick, but you have to be willing. Here it is. Here's the tough part. This is it. This is the test. The ultimate come to Jesus moment now, right? The ultimate come to Jesus moment is right here. Are you willing to lose acquaintances? Are you willing to lose friends? Are you willing to lose people that are not conducive to your future, that are not helping you get to the places where you want to be, that are clearly have made it absolutely painfully obvious to you? Could be painful, or could be delightful, whatever it is, have made it come 1000% obvious to you that they have no interest in helping you build anything outside of, maybe whatever it is that they do for work. Are you willing to lose acquaintances? All right. This one's the hardest, but the most important. Too many people avoid growth because they're afraid of outgrowing the people around them. They put their dreams on hold just to keep the peace. They sacrifice progress for comfort. But real mental adjustment requires courageous separation, letting go of people who aren't willing to grow with you. If you're serious about getting to the next level, you can't bring everyone with you, and that's okay. Final thought. Mental adjustments don't require a complete life overhaul. They require small internal shifts. They require clarity, strength, humility, and the courage to walk alone if needed. Every one of these 5 tips is a part of the puzzle, but it all starts with one decision. You want something more, and you're willing to adjust to go get it. Tomorrow, up next, we are Wintrepreneur Wednesday tomorrow, right? Join me tomorrow, dive into mentally adjusting in real time and what it actually looks like when you have to make decisions on the fly as a business owner, coach, or leader. It's not always pretty, but it is necessary. Let's get it. So tomorrow we're going to be discussing how to do it in real time. I know we've kind of broke it down a little bit today, but just know, let me put it right back on the screen. Just know it is coming. And when you develop this mindset, and you really do, if you really dive into it and you really spend your leisure time or spend the time you have on your own doing this, all of the decisions, all the major decisions start to make a whole lot more sense to you. You're able to make the decisions with a sense of clarity, a sense of understanding where your priorities are, how you're going to get there, and you don't land yourself in situations in which you're doing things just for you. I'm telling you right now from experience, not talking to you as if I'm not someone that lived through this. All right. It is the most loneliest thing in the world to be, and even lonely, when I say lonely, you can actually be quote unquote happily married. You can actually be with someone. You can actually have a family and have the house and the white picket fence and all that shit. It is the loneliest walk in life to try to get there, try to do these things without understanding there's a mental adjustment that you need to make if you're going to really enjoy the folks around you, if you're really going to enjoy and appreciate and respect all of the people who are there for you and really, really want to see you successful and genuinely care about your well-being, not because of some added agenda for their lives, not because, okay, this happens for me when this person does that, so I'm going to pretend to like this person. I'm going to suck up to this person for a season. No, I'm talking about the people who are going to ride with you no matter what. All right. There's a mindset that comes before you run into those kinds of folks. All right. So again, all that being said, main website to check out to dive deeper into all of this and make sure you're inquiring about all the employee development work I do and decide and making the decision. Make the investment, folks. Make the investment to where someone like myself can come in, or me, myself, can come in and teach this mindset to your staff. This is what I do. This is my superpower, right? Main website for all that, it's makeyourmove.com. That's MakeYamove.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker. Check it out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We'll talk more soon.